Yes, what is up everyone, and welcome to another exciting installment of Previews and Predictions. And yes, I know you were hoping for my reactions to my Europa League quarterfinal predictions, and you'll get those soon, okay? So don't worry, Arsenal supporters, you'll get a whole comment section to tear me a new one for saying that you would lose. But we're doing this first, and we're going to start with Manchester City versus Spurs, because these two teams are meeting for the third time in 10 days, and emotions will surely be high when that whistle is blown, especially because City's hopes of winning the quadruple were smashed after their loss to Spurs on, well, no, actually, they won on Wednesday. And wait a minute, they won 4-3, but actually drew 4-4 over the two legs. However, they got knocked out because they lost on away goals, which means, if you're doing the math at home, they won, they drew, and they lost on the same night, which is pretty awesome and kind of f***ed up at the same time. Anyway, City will have to pick themselves up and get things right pretty quickly, since they have zero time to sulk, since there's still a chance for them to win a treble. But they are up against it with their upcoming week of Spurs again at home, which we're talking about, then away to Manchester United midweek, and I'm going to that game. Yes, living the dream. And then away to Burnley after that, which is a difficult place to get a result as well. So even though there's a lot of hope of being able to repeat as champions, since Kevin De Bruyne looks like he's in top form again, and Raheem Sterling continuing to prove why he's a favorite for the Player of the Year award, it's not going to be easy, especially since Liverpool should beat Cardiff in Wales this weekend, and because Spurs need all 3 points as well to hold off Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United for a spot in the top 4. So damn, this could and should be another cracking affair. Also, I'll be doing a reaction stream around this game, so you should come stop by and watch it with me on Twitch. It would be great to interact with you guys while it's going down. But enough of my shameless self-promotion. Though speaking of that, have you ever seen my goal against Mexico? You have? You haven't? We can roll the clip another time. Let's get to my prediction. And because I have to stay true to what I've been saying for a while now, which was whoever went farther in the Champions League between City and Liverpool would lose the Premier League, because I feel like that team would then have to devote more energy and attention and focus to some big games against the biggest clubs, which in this case is Liverpool taking on Barcelona in the semifinals. I like City now to win the league, which is what I predicted would happen back in August for my league preview, so at least I'm being consistent. But City just took a big kick in the balls with this setback to Spurs in a competition that they desperately wanted to win, so I'm not sure of their mental state right now, because they're either going to be super fragile about failing to accomplish their main goal this season, or they're going to be super pissed and give Spurs a what beatdown. I mean, it's going to be one or the other. I don't think there's an in-between. Also, I don't want to sleep on Spurs this season, because every time they've been counted out by others or by myself, they respond in a positive fashion. So I'm going to say 2-2. And up next, it's time to chat some Inter Milan versus Roma. Because at one point during this season, both of these teams seemed to be on the up and up, but then something changed, and that led to Inter manager Luciano Spalletti seemingly losing control of his team, and Roma firing their manager completely. But as the season nears the end, it feels like things are back to normal, as Inter have solidified their third place position over the last few weeks, while Roma have won their last 2 to get within 1 point of 4th place AC Milan. The issue, however, for Roma that is, who I still believe should be playing better than they are this season, is their defense. They've conceded 45 goals in 32 games, and I don't know why I'm grabbing my ears to tell you that, which is the worst among all the teams in the top 10 in Italy. However, they've scored 57 goals over those same 32 games, which is only 4 behind what Napoli have scored this season, and that's 4th best in Italy overall, which is my way of saying that I don't know which Roma team is going to show up for this one, or Inter 2 for that matter, because they seem to have a split personality as well. So I'm going big on this one, and I'm going to say 4-3 to Inter. Also, every time I pick Roma to lose, they win. So consider this a reverse jinx, Roma supporters, because we need this win. I'm a Roma supporter, especially because I get the feeling that Atalanta is going to get all 3 points against Napoli this week, because Napoli have been playing as bad as they have all season. I mean, they couldn't even score against Arsenal over 2 legs, and Arsenal have Mustafi in their back line. The shame! The shame! Anyway, next up, let's head to Spain to talk about 2 teams that we haven't talked about lately. It's Real Madrid hosting Athletic Club de Bilbao. Bilbao Baggins. Bilbao, that's a bad joke. And I'm going with this game over whatever Barcelona is doing, because they have the league wrapped up already. They have a 9-point lead at the top. And Atletico Madrid and their game, because they're probably going to win 1-0, because that's what they usually do. So I wanted to focus on these two, because Bilbao are 3 points away from the last Europa League spot, while Madrid, who looked destined to finish 3rd this season, seem to have lost that buzz that came from having Zidane come back as manager, which feels somewhat similar to Ole Gunnar at Manchester United, where things started out great and everyone was excited, and now the old issues are resurfacing. So keeping this in mind, and the fact that when Sergio Ramos doesn't play, and he's not playing in this one, Madrid seem to be infinitely more vulnerable in the back, and the fact that Toni Kroos is now out too due to illness, and the fact that Bilbao just seem to be that one team in La Liga that the top 3 clubs always seem to struggle to play against, I'm gonna say 1-1. And now here's some other games I'll be keeping my eyes on this weekend. I'm trying to do a 360 with my eyes. Like the contenders in Germany, because Super Bayern Munich are facing their toughest title defense in a long time. I mean, Borussia Dortmund had a 9-point lead at one point during the season, but alas, Dortmund have become the new Spurs and have completely bottled it to find themselves 1 point behind Bayern with 5 games to go. However, Bayern face a stiff test this weekend when they face a red-hot Werder Bremen, who have won 4 and drawn 1 in their last 5, and Bremen are due. They have lost to Bayern 18 straight times in all competitions, and that has to end at some point, right? While Dortmund hit the road to face Freiburg, which won't be easy either, mainly because Dortmund aren't playing particularly well. But if Marco Reus starts like he's expected to, the black and yellow usually find a way to win when he's on the field. So I'm truly hoping that Bayern and Bremen draw and Dortmund win so that the Bundesliga gets tense with only 4 games remaining. And then in Portugal, FC Porto snapped Benfica's 4-year hold on the Primeira Liga trophy last season, but it's looking like it might be heading back to Benfica this season. That is, if Benfica can maintain their very narrow lead at the top, which they only have because of goal difference, which I guess shouldn't come as too much of a surprise since they have the league's leading scorer in Haris Seferovic. So we'll see how both of these clubs play this weekend after they both got knocked out of European competitions midweek. And then in Holland, Ajax and PSV are tied on points at the top of the table with 4 games left to go. But Ajax, who are obviously one of the most talked about teams in the world right now after their performances in both legs against Juventus in the Champions League, seem to be the team of the moment. Plus, they have a better goal difference than PSV, which makes them number 1 and PSV number 2. So we'll see if they have an emotional letdown against Groningen this weekend, which could allow PSV to sneak back on top, or if they're going to continue to step on people's throats on their way to winning trophies this season. And finally, I want to talk a little Atlanta United versus FC Dallas, because this game features 2 of last season's finest teams in the league, but who are both currently struggling this year. Now, last season's champions Atlanta have won only once, which was last week against a very bad New England Revolution team. Sorry, Revs fans, I just gotta say it like it is. But Atlanta find themselves still in 10th place, and Dallas, who take pride in starting players that come out of their academy, have a few with some serious potential, like Paxton Pomykal and Jesus Ferreira. So this will be a nice test for them, for these young players in particular, to see if they can do it at a high level, away from home, in front of 70,000 people. And I just think it's gonna be a great game, so I think we should all watch. And all right, that is it. That is all I got. So pick the right score for City versus Spurs. That's the game I'll be watching with all of you on my Twitch channel tomorrow. And if you get it exactly right, you'll be entered to win some Warm Baller stickers from this guy. So good luck, and please, for me, have a good or bad weekend, everybody. Later.